Real special every time we say this, sinking in, the head football coach at the University of Oklahoma, Brent Venables.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be here today. Thank you again all for coming. It's kind of surreal for me to look around and see so many familiar faces and see a bunch of friends out here, and just an amazing journey here these last few days. Again, as I said earlier, if you would have asked me, 10 years ago, as I walked out of my office for the last time, and if I thought I'd be here 10 years later as the head football coach, I would have told you need to check yourself and do a mental institution. And the biggest reason is it's just this is Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is a special place, and there's a lot of incredible coaches out there, and that's where I have as much respect for the coaching profession. A lot of options, lots of choices, and so again, just grateful to be here. Really looking forward to the opportunities. The number one thing for me and my family as I looked at this opportunity was the leadership here, and people in the profession know Joe Castiglione, Joe Harris, the Board of Regents, the leadership in this university. It's first of all, it's first class, and secondly, they're about their business. They know what they're doing. They're very professional in everything that they do. The alignment is very real. It's very tangible. The direction, the focus, and the commitment is second to none. They don't take a backseat to anybody. And so as a football coach, that's what you're always looking for. If you're going to align yourself as a head football coach, you need to make sure that everything's in place from a resource standpoint, from a commitment standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. And so Oklahoma, again, has that reputation, and being behind the scenes from that standpoint, can verify that. Again, take a backseat to nobody. So to partner with this leadership was a no-brainer for me. To have the opportunity to be the next football coach at Oklahoma, something that you have to look at, that you can't turn down. And I've been very patient my career. I'm a very faith-driven decision maker. And when this call came, however long ago it was, you lose sense of days, as you all know, in this process. This one was special, and I just again appreciate the leadership and their belief in me, and their faith in me and my leadership and my ability to be the head football coach here. Truly blessed beyond what I deserve. So again, I'll open it up however they want. And just again, great to be here. Just really thankful.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Coach. We'll go to questions. We'll begin on the left. Ryan Aber, the Oklahoman.
Yeah, Brent, I want to ask you, how did the last decade at Clemson prepare you for this? And what are some of the specific things that you've taken from that got you ready for this day? And also, will Tyler play in the bowl game for Clemson or come here immediately?
Yeah, so I think I made a statement earlier that in the last 10 years I've grown more as a coach, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a dad to my girls, as a believer. All those areas that, from a holistic standpoint, are incredibly important. And I think getting out of your comfort zone. And we know in our different professions, it's one of the hardest things that you can go through. And so for me, that was a very hard transition. I thought, I'm Johnny Super Coach. I've got all this incredible pedigree and resume and association. Man, I'm this, hot shot coach. I'm a winner. And what I learned at 40 years old in a very humbling way is you got to start over. And you got to start over with relationships. You can't bring your street cred with you. You have to earn that. It takes a lot of work, whether that's with players or with colleagues. It also gave me an opportunity just to kind of scale everything down and build it from scratch from the X's and O's standpoint. Coach Sweeney is an amazing leader. He's got every quality that you would want in a human being. Best man I've ever been around. And but he pours into his coaches as much as he pours into his players. And so it's really in every area that prepared me. Obviously, he equipped me and empowered me and allowed me to do the things within the confines of his vision, to be a leader and inspire and challenge and to grow and to compete. And so again, you just go down that checklist of all the areas that I've grown. Just a lot of wisdom. And again, I think the biggest thing is just when you leave and get away from home, and you've got to really find yourself. And so that's what it really allowed me to do. And then he coaches coaches as well as anybody that I've been around. Yeah, so I would believe he would, right now his intention is to stay there and play in the bowl game. Yep, you bet.
We'll stay in front. Eric Bailey, Tulsa World.
Welcome back to Norman. I wanted to ask you, I got a question for Joe too, but I want to ask you, we talk about recruiting, how important is it to really keep a good relationship with Caleb Williams? Have you had a chance to talk to him about staying here at Oklahoma? I know there's a lot of, with the portal, a lot of things can happen with the coaching change. And then for Joe, the hire came 7 days after you got the news, and Brent was he an early target? And why did it take so long, I guess? Was it someone you could have named earlier in the week?
So I have spoken to Caleb, reached out to him and his father yesterday, and connect with his father here later. Whether it's Caleb or anybody else, everybody talks about recruiting and go and get the next class and the next class after that even. There's nobody that's more important to recruit than your players every day. And you do that with relationships. You do that with connectivity. You got to, again, reach them the right way and always be, on guard, if you will, with, again, the ability that we as adults, we've laid out there. There's no reason for pause. And we've all been 17, 18, 19-year-old young people. There's a reason that insurance for a 17-year-old is a lot more expensive than it is 24-year-old. It's called judgment. And so, again, there's no reason to pause. And, so the portal's a very real thing, with all of your players. But that I've always believed in continuing to nurture your relationships. Don't get so caught up in the recruiting that you lose sight of what's most important, what's in your locker room, because it's the lifeblood of your program.
Joe.
So, Eric, Coach was my first call, but I think, and he would agree, I owe it to the University of Oklahoma and to him and his candidacy to have a process. And a process is all-encompassing, and there are many facets of it. And, in the end, regardless of what decision we make, it fortifies, it validates, it clarifies everything about what is needed in leadership, alignment, commitment, structure, support, and how we're going to go about doing this together, because that's what it's all about at the University of Oklahoma. So I know sometimes people think, well, there's that person, they're right there. Why don't you just go hire them? Well, sometimes and occasionally there may be a reason why you just do it instantaneously, because you've been with them and watched them, and in that situation, it might have made sense. But that doesn't mean it makes sense in every situation. And I think in this case, the process itself was important, and we moved it quickly. And the other part is, we weren't just dealing with the process of hiring a coach. Obviously, we didn't expect to be in a coaching search a week ago, and we had to deal with all the other, I guess you could say, connectivity to what that change meant. Players, coaching staff, university, fans, everybody had a reaction to it, and we're managing that. At the same time, we're trying to put the focus on the coaching search. So the process in this case, you really have to follow it, and it really makes the decision you make so much stronger.
Okay, far left, Jason Kersey with The Athletic.
Brent, have you started to figure out how you're going to put your staff together? Will you be retaining any of the current assistant coaches?
Obviously, you prepare yourself for a long time, way before every battle's won before it's fought. That same kind of mindset when it comes to staffing, and we're working through that right now. And the same with our current staff. There's some terrific options right here at home, and we're looking at everything. But obviously, we want to do it sooner rather than later, and so we're working aggressively on both fronts.
Are you going to hire a defensive coordinator, or will you call plays defensively?
Yeah, my intention is to hire a defensive coordinator.
Okay, so go to Bob Prisbillo, Sooner Scoop.
Yeah, Brent, you talk about recruiting, it's a week and a half before early signing period. How do you go into the homes now of these kids that maybe don't know you and try to earn their trust and try to sell them that you're going to be there for the long haul?
Yeah, well, I have a career, almost 30 years of being loyal. Just look at my career, and if I've been something, I've been loyal. And so I haven't been a coach that's jumped all over, taking this job, take this job, to take this job. So I think that speaks for itself. Again, it's not an easy thing to sell, but I do think that they chose Oklahoma for a reason. And we always challenge recruits to take the recruiting coach out of it. And just what a wonderful place it is to, chase your dreams, to get a great quality education, to develop holistically. And so it's much more than just one person. I recognize that being the head coach is very important place in all of that. And but again, if they're looking for me, for example, if they're looking for a program with stability, a program of success, this is a program, first of all, that's displayed that on its own. And then my career has been exactly that as well. So on the biggest stages and the biggest games, and have that kind of experience to sell.
Jenny Carlson, the Oklahoman.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, so this morning you wake up in Norman, Oklahoma, a place that you woke up a lot of mornings before. But what was that like to come to this place, a place you've come to so many times as the head coach this morning?
It was really indescribable. It really was last night. Julie and Jake and T-Bone and the girls, they don't remember anything, but it was so cool. And so it's like, hey, you guys want to go over to the stadium? We're like, yeah, let's go check it out. And it's dark, we saw the lights. I had no idea everybody else was coming, and we had a blast, just a blast. You talk about memory, going down memory lane, and just some amazing memories. Our family was molded and shaped here. Just so many incredible influences, and so, and then we're going home. Where we're going to stay, and we are starving. So what time is this? This is like.
After midnight.
Yeah, way after midnight. Yeah. And found Whataburger, game changer. We don't have one of those in Clemson, so triple cheeseburger later and some onion rings, and we were in hog heaven. But it was just indescribable. This morning, I think that's probably, I know Joe's even worse than me, but I sleep well normally. I have no problem sleeping. I've gone 7 straight days of probably 4 hours or less. And man, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and trying to be quiet for Julie, and she goes, I'm up. I'm like, we flipped it on, and we're back at it. And it's amazing. We're so grateful and thankful. Just things have come full circle. You can't fabricate family, and it has felt so easy on so many levels. It really has. It's just very hard to describe, but it's very real, it's very tangible, and we're just, again, thankful, and just really look forward to, hopefully adding to again, the Sooner family, adding to the rich history and tradition here, and again, raising our family here.
In front, Jesse Crittenden, Norman Transcript.
Just wanted to ask, obviously the defense here has had some ups and downs the last few years, and I know you talked about, you just mentioned you might hire a defensive coordinator, but how do you feel like you can add to the defense here? How do you kind of evaluate that unit?
Well, again, I'm always looking, forward thinking, certainly in the now, but in the very near future and transitioning to the SEC. We're in a SEC footprint in South Carolina and recruit against the SEC. All of the teams understand what they have, but from an infrastructure standpoint, certainly personnel, where you got to go to recruit. It's always about the players, so that's where it's going to start. Evaluating the players and finding, again, where our needs are, addressing those needs as quickly as we can, and then, again, building a foundation for them, both from a philosophy standpoint, structure standpoint, and then the development that goes with that. And that's not an overnight thing, as we all know, but that's all the things that I've said already in regards to philosophy and structure, alignments. And then, again, it's all game planning, and once you get to that stage on down the road. But, I'm excited. I watch Oklahoma a lot, and I study everybody. And but we watched Oklahoma defensively. They had made this huge jump in improvement 2 years ago to where they were a year ago and did some really good things even this year. But studied them in the out of season. Because I'm a believer in the coaching aspect of it. And when you have some statistical things where there's a large movement, as I'm trying to study people and get better as a coach, I try to pay attention. So whether that was disruption or tackles for loss or third down or sacks, when there's this dramatic shift, I'm always looking. A few years ago, we went to Iowa State. I'm like, listen, Iowa State, that conference is as explosive an offensive conference in college football. Okay, Iowa State has led them, I don't know, it's like maybe 3 straight years in rush defense, and one of the better defenses, and making some, challenging some of the better offenses and defending them. So just again, trying to peel the onion back and see, not just what they're doing, how they're doing it, because I respect people doing more with less, and that's what coaching looks like. So, to answer your question long-windedly. There's a lot that goes into that. One I'm incredibly excited about, and again, in my opinion, without evaluating, the personnel yet and what our needs are, I'm incredibly excited. And I think any mark of any good unit, player, coach, is consistency. Showing up week in and week out, playing, to a standard, and so that's an important aspect, as well.
Go to Garen Emig, Tulsa World.
Hey, Brent. Hey, Garen. How you been? Good. Good to see you again. The longer you were at Clemson, was it a natural situation, inclination to pay less attention to what was going on here at OU, or was you shaking your head already?
No, I mean, you feel like, that's part of your fiber. You don't just invest. It's not just a job. For me, this is me. It's not just a job. It's, you pour your life into it. So you don't just walk away and forget about it, good or bad. You try to learn from all of it. And so for me, absolutely, always paying attention. Coach Stoops and his family, Joe Castiglione and his family, our children, were christened together. We've done it all. We've changed diapers together. I mean, I don't know. It's just I'm a very connected person, and even to a lot of you. I feel like relationships. You have business relationship. I'm not really like that. I'm deeply connected. Whether I say that outwardly or not, but that's when you pour your life into something, you pour your heart into it. You're truly passionate about it, and you don't just close that door. So absolutely looking on and pulling for, and it's been a lot of fun.
Go to Dean Blevins, News 9.
Brent, welcome back. Thank you. Couple thoughts. Are you going to see Bob? Are you going to drop by Vegas and take part in any of that? And secondly, as we see these players, the Hazelwoods and so forth, transfer out, then Benito saying he's opting out or not playing in the bowl game, and others are saying they're staying. What type of assurances, or do you know what type of team that will be on the field in this upcoming bowl game?
I'll be honest. I've certainly paid some attention. We talked about it briefly last night. Had an amazing Zoom call with them yesterday, and then a great team meeting I felt this morning. Really looking forward to, again, pulling the curtain back in that regard quickly. My number one goal is to get on the road recruiting, make sure that this 22 class that's due to enroll here in the next few weeks is where it needs to be, and then all the while in between visits, visiting with our current players, and we talked about that, the transfer portal, and we just make it easy, and it's actually kind of cool to just quit. It's like cool to quit, and I don't get that. And I understand there's always extenuating circumstances and situations where it's okay for, somebody needs to move on, or maybe a graduate transfer that wants to go somewhere and actually play more. But, but it is a real issue. And so I think that goes back to on the front end of trying to recruit people. And again, it's a people first. I believe that wholeheartedly, and finding people. That's why, to me, you instead of speed everything up, you need to slow it down, and that's not real popular. These I don't even know, is it sophomores, if they're 2024, like they're mad if they don't get an offer, and I'm like, what's so wrong with starting like a full year of varsity, going on your first date, learning how to shave. Maybe get a driver's license before you get a $120,000 scholarship. You're mad we don't offer you when you're, 14 years old, and you don't know anything about them. There's no track record, and we're going to value our offer. It's important to me, first of all, that we understand what those values are and what the fit is. Find people first. Yeah, they got to be talented. That goes without saying. They got to be a great player. But we're going to look for people first, because I think that's what sustains. There'll be some tough moments, and you go to college, it's hard, especially when you're young and immature. So I think it's important that you find, people that got the right stuff, and whatever that is. And again, our job as a staff is having the ability to identify that. And it's not, nobody's going to be, nobody's going to protect themselves wholeheartedly where you're not going to lose anybody. But we want to keep it, we want to keep that to a minimum, because I think continuity can be a very good thing, as we know. And development, I want to be a developmental program. I want everything about our program to be developmental. That doesn't mean the guy don't play till he's older. It just means it's a developmental program. Football's a developmental game. The more you play, the more you practice, the better you get. There's a reason why that 4th and 5th year player, I had a couple of 6-year guys this year, amazing players. They just play way up here. They fly up here where the Gulf Stream does, They're not down here with the King Airs. They're up there, that Gulf Stream. And sometimes those young guys, they can get up there, but they're down here, and they're up here, and they're down there. And that's how they think as well. So, again, I think it's important that we're patient. We find the right fit in regards to the recruiting process. Be aggressive when you need to. When you see it, when you don't. And then again, I think you got to continue to always, you can't you spend all this time, you spend a year recruiting some of these guys, and then all of a sudden you get them, and then you're on to the next, and then you lose your way with the players that are in your locker room. And I think managing that is very important. I think it's important, it's my responsibility that I continually remind our staff when we get everybody in place that there's nothing that's more important than those guys in that locker room, period. And that other stuff can wait. And that has its urgency as well. But I think when you get that locker room right, everything else will work, accordingly.
Let's go to Cliff Brunt, AP.
Yeah, over here. Take the OU part out of it. What is it about you at this time in your life that makes it the right time to make this jump?
I don't think I can take the OU out of it. I'll be honest. I mean, that's what was in it for me. Having numerous opportunities throughout my career. Listen, I'm a simple guy. I value some things that maybe other people don't. Maybe more so. I value relationships. I value people. I value quality of life. And I value simplicity. Just because you become the head coach doesn't mean you can't keep things simple. You control that narrative. And listen, this is Oklahoma, all right? Alabama's never offered me a head job. I don't want to go down my small Rolodex of schools, but this is that program. And so it's I feel like I've had 27 plus years of interview and preparation. I've been exposed to 3 college football Hall of Fame coaches. Coach Sweeney will be next. And what they've been able to pour into me, I've always been a sponge. I'm taking it all in. So I've led my group, my position group. I've led defenses. I've been in front of the team plenty. It's something that's easy for me, something I love to do. I'm just passionate about people, and I am passionate about winning. I'm passionate about winning the right way, and never compromising, those values. And so just like the players will tell you, it doesn't have to change. It doesn't need to change. It won't change when you become the head coach. And so it's a calling, being a coach. And as I said earlier, to some degree, coaching for me is you get paid, you get compensated well, you're in the spotlight. A lot of people are using that scoreboard in that stadium as how they're going to judge you. You're in a performance-based profession, and it's important that you're successful. But for me, my scoreboard isn't in that stadium. It's the lives that I impact. It's the hearts that I reach. It's the relationships that last a lifetime. There's nothing that will trump that. And as a head coach, that's what I want our program to be about.
Back to the front, Barry Trammell, the Oklahoman.
Yeah, Brent, you mentioned over there that you'd been on both sides of this. I don't know, did you mean that you thought you might get a job and didn't get it, or how close have you come to taking the jump to head coach, or is this the first one that was ever really serious?
No, I've had plenty of opportunities where I just bowed out on the front end or said no during the process, and probably a year ago was probably closest. And again, all the things that are important to me are important in every opportunity that you look at. So some, you looked at more seriously than others. Not many, because again, I've had a great job, like an amazing job, and the quality of life. And I'm like literally for the last 10 years, I went to work every day and I got filled up as a human being. And that's like hard to quantify to some people, but I have perspective and I have awareness, I have appreciation, and I had a lot of fun. And so again, so you try not to screw up happy, right? Learned that a long time ago. And but this is like a no-brainer in my opinion, for all the reasons I've already said. From the leadership to the alignment, to the success of this program through its history, to the location, to the people, all of it.
You told me a few years ago you had long conversations with Merv Johnson, and Merv, top of the line person, top of the line coach, never did take another job, and the great job never came. Did you ever worry that, or maybe not worry, but did you ever think it's not coming?
I think that's important. You said, worry or not. Yeah, I didn't worry. Mindful, yes, and reflective on what if, or what would that look like, or what would it look like if I didn't, that as well. And really my family are the ones, I was like always afraid that I would get so ingrained in my job, I might have to, miss softball practice, or, being, taking the girls to school in the morning, or missing a weekend tournament. Like I have so much fun. That's what living is all about. And so I was afraid a little bit at times of, you become a head coach and, you might lose that balance. And my family's the one that have encouraged me and reinforced to me that it doesn't have to be that way. So So that, I don't know if that answered your question, but Merv was, he's like he's always known for, to give incredible advice. And I've actually thought of him through this process. And, but thankful for, his mentorship.
Okay, we've got more questions than we're going to have time for, so I apologize. We can get a couple more in. Let's go to James Hale, CBS Sports Radio.
Great to see you. I'm glad you're back, man. You touched on it a little bit in your opening, in your celebration there, but what have you always thought as a head coach that you really wanted to do offensively and defensively? Can you take a little deeper dive into that and tell us what you expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just watch how offenses work today, with obviously fast-paced, most everybody's no huddle or the sugar huddle. Just being aggressive, aggressive and physical and everything. Just because you spread out doesn't mean you have to lose a physical element. And I think it's important, more important than anything else, that you maintain, establish, nourish, enhance, improve, have a standard of physicality that goes with whatever scheme that you're implementing. But I think it needs to be diverse. I think I love game planning. I love coaching week to week. Tweaking and fitting schemes and based on the matchups and things of that nature. But I think it's important that you understand your what you have at your disposal in regards to playmakers, and you're going to ride the things that are your strength. You're going to protect the weaknesses. But I believe you got to throw the ball in this day and age without question. I think that's never changed, but you got to be aggressive in the things that you're doing and multiple, very diverse in your presentation, and then make the defense move and adjust and be right on the field. And then again, I think that you got to be known for something. And so I think having a strong identity that has shown that it's stood the test of time is important as well. On defense, again, believe that it all starts again up front, and that you got to recruit great players there and then develop them. Length and speed, guys that have position flexibility is ideal. That helps create additional depth. The way offenses operate, you'd like to be able to, from a package standpoint, not have to get in and out of sub packages. You want to do it when you want to do it, not when somebody forces you to do it. And so you want to be able to play with the same personnel as much as you can. But again, have flexibility. You want people to feel like they're seeing a lot, but keeping it simple. And but I'm fundamentalist on both sides of the ball. I'm not trying to out-trick when it's all said and done. I love deception on both sides. But at the end of the day, it comes down to fundamentals and physicality, and guys who's playing with uncommon effort. And I think those got to be non-negotiables.
Okay, our last two will go to John Hoover, SI Sooners, and then Kerry Murdoch. John?
Brent, congrats. Welcome back, man. When you think about the influences you've had in your career, you've named them, you've talked about them, but I just wonder if you could pick one or two things from Bill Snyder, from Bob Stoops, from Dabo Swinney, three different coaches, three different coaching styles, guys that influenced you heavily. What are you going to bring to Oklahoma using those?
Yeah, I would say Bill Snyder, organization and details, thoroughness, the what ifs. Bob Stoops, very aggressive, go for broke, confident mentality, and Dabo Swinney, how to love, and loving the staff, loving the players, showing a genuine appreciation for everyone. Yep.
Kerry Murdoch, WWLS.
Hey, Brent. Welcome back. You've talked a little bit about it today, the T-shirts that the team wore today. You've won, 2 championships since you've left here. How much of a difficult balance is individual achievement versus team achievement in college football now? And is that one of the bigger battles that you fight?
Yeah. And again, I think it goes. That's a great question, and a critical, hard to gauge. Right? They're not. You're not getting that on a stopwatch. And that's a real critical component. And again, I think it goes back to that recruiting aspect, I'm really trying to find out who they are as people. And that's not like this is earth revelating or this is new, but I think the way the landscape of recruiting in college football is a sooner rather than later mindset. And really the freshman or the sophomore doesn't really understand what the scholarship is. They just want to know they got street cred with you, that you like them. That's what an offer is. And so to me, that's devaluing the offer. And so again, I think it comes to go back to that, having value on your offer, what it really means. When you put your name on it as a program and an organization, then you're saying this guy's got it, all of it. Doesn't mean you're never going to make mistakes or misevaluate somebody, but if they don't have the character component, if they don't have the team first component, if they don't have the mature component, all those things, you keep going down that list of the intangibles, then we need to move on despite what everybody else is doing. So it's easy in this profession, in the recruiting world, to just to offer, and that's not who we're going to be. And that when we offer someone, we've actually seen an academic transcript. They've actually played a couple of years of high school football, varsity football. They possess the intrinsic qualities that we're looking for that fit our culture and our values. And if it's somebody that's not a team guy, no matter what his talent, then that's not us. We're moving on. You don't need that. You recruit your problems. And so again, just empowering our coaches in their evaluation process. It's more whoa than go, and that's not the nature of college recruiting right now. So if it's they have the mega camps everywhere, for example. You're not going to see the Oklahoma, not as long as I'm here, the Oklahoma logo at the mega camps. If we got to go to a mega camp in San Antonio to get you interested in Oklahoma, so you're not going to come to our campus and see us, to the Oklahoma camp on our campus, then you're not coming here for 3 or 4 years anyway, if it's too much of an inconvenience. So we want to, it's kind of like Rolls Royce. You don't see Rolls Royce commercials everywhere. Do you? You don't see a commercial. And I'm not saying this in an egotistical way, but the Oklahoma and its rich history and tradition and the success takes a back seat to nobody. And so we shouldn't have to go and to across the country and to the mega camps where there's 600 kids and 30 colleges. You really can't do a good evaluation or get to know them anyway. We don't need to do that, and so rely on that as well to attract the best of the best, on and off the field. But that attitude of team first, it's critical. It's one of the first things you see when you walk in our team room. Something I believe wholeheartedly in.